Consider the stars of the night sky. The Bible says that God created these wonders to mark the passage of time and to declare His glory. As the earth spins, the stars rise and set with clockwork precision. Stars are incredible sources of energy, glowing hot globes of hydrogen and helium gas. Our own sun puts out more energy every second than 100 billion nuclear bombs. But our sun is only one speck in an enormous galaxy of stars called the Milky Way, estimated to contain over 100 billion stars. But the Milky Way is only a grain of sand amidst a sea of galaxies. An estimated 100 billion galaxies are in the visible universe alone. Just imagine the power displayed every night, produced by 100 billion galaxies, each with millions to trillions of blazing stars. Yet God just spoke them into existence.
When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place. What is man that you are mindful of him, and the Son of Man that you care for him? Whoa.
Hi kids, good morning.
Hello.
This is Miss Angela and Miss Shelley, and we are going to welcome you back. Today we have a review of last week. We learned about the 7 C's. Miss Shelley, would you review this with us?
Yes, and the 7 C's are not water. They are the 7 C's of history. And we talked about how our Bible is actually our history book. So our first C that we talked about was creation. And then it went to corruption, to catastrophe, and confusion. All of these sound really bad, don't they?
Yes.
But then we have Christ, cross, and the last C was consummation. And so today we're actually going to learn about the very first C that we talked about, which is creation. And what's another word for creation, Miss Angela, that our kids might know?
Made.
Made. Something that's being made. That's a good one. So I'm going to read Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Genesis is the very beginning of everything. And so when we read Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 in our Bible, it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." And Miss Angela has something really cool she's going to show us today about how God created things.
All right, so we're going to do some sign language. And we're going to start with God. And so you're going to take your hand, put it up. Is it left or right?
It's fine. So take your right hand, which is our left.
All right, kids, get your hands ready. We're going to be doing some sign language this morning. I'm going to teach you the sign for God. So if you would take your right hand, put it up in the air, and you're going to bring it down in front of your face. Okay, try it with me. Bring it up, over, and down. Good job. All right, that is a sign for God.
God. Let's say that together while we do it, just so that we remember.
God.
Okay.
The next one will be create.
Okay.
So you need 2 fists. You're going to bring them together and twist them twice. Okay. There you go. All right. So Genesis 1:1. God
created the heavens and the earth. We don't know the sign for heaven and earth yet, but we do have some signs that we did learn today. So Miss Angela's going to help us out. Our first one. Let's see if we can practice this one together.
Okay.
What is this?
A butterfly.
Isn't it pretty? All right, so let's try it together. God created, and then butterfly. How about that? All right, so our next picture that we have is, do you know what this is?
A platypus.
A platypus. It kind of looks like a duck and an otter, and I'm not really sure. It's very interesting. But guess who made it?
God did.
Yes. So.
All right, kids, are you ready?
Ooh. Yep.
Ready?
I'm ready.
God created the platypus.
Platypus. That's cute. All right. Let's try this one out. Let's see if she knows this one. What are these?
Birds.
Birds. They're actual cardinals, but we're going to say birds today.
Okay.
All right.
All right. God created birds.
Birds. All right. One more. I like this one. This is one of my favorites.
Oh, stars.
The stars. And who made the stars?
God did. All right. So God created stars.
The stars. I love it.
that.
I know it. I do too. And you know what, kids? God is the only one who could create any of that because he is, this really long word says omnipotent. But it means that God is all powerful. He's the only one who could create all these things. So let's talk about how the world was created as we know it. Let's check into our history book today and let's see what God created.
Okay. On Genesis 1:3, what did God do on that day? It was day 1. He called the light day and the darkness night. And, how did he make them?
Well, let's find out. If we read this in the Bible, it says in Genesis chapter 1, verses 3 and 4, and God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. And this says, God said. All he did was speak it. Wow. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? All right, so that was day 1. So day 1, God created what? Day and night. So let's see what happened on day 2. So we're still in the book of Genesis, and I'm going to read Genesis chapter 1, verse 6. And it says, and God said, "Let there be an expanse in the middle of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And so this verse has some really big words. So let's talk about them. God made an expanse to separate the waters above and the waters below. So if we're standing outside today, but if you were standing outside and you looked up, what would you see? What is this?
Beautiful sky.
It's a beautiful sky. So God created the sky, and then if we take a deep breath, like, what is that we're breathing? Air. So God created the sky, and the expanse is part of our air, and then the waters he separated. So on day 2, God created water, air, and sky. And only God can do that. Why? What was our big word? Because he is omnipotent. He is all powerful. All right, so let's see. That was day 2. So what have we got on day 3?
On day 3, God created plants and fruits and trees and grass, and it's my favorite day, Michelle.
Yeah.
I mean, flowers are my ultimate favorite.
This is true.
So would you please read Genesis 1:11 for me?
I will. And God said, let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed, each according to its kind on the earth. And it was so.
Man. So when God created those things, do you think he used construction paper, glue, and scissors?
I don't think he created that yet.
No?
No. I'm going to say no.
Okay. So we would go back to what you said. He just said it and it happened, correct?
Yes.
Because he is omnipotent.
Omnipotent.
But you know what, Michelle?
What?
He wasn't just done on day 3. There was more to create.
There's more. That's right. So let's find out. Day 4. Oh, I like this one too. Because on day 4, he created the sun, the moon, and the stars. If we read Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, it says, and God said, let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And so God said, let there be light in the sky, and he created one really big one in the daytime and one really big one at night. So I wonder what that would be. What's the really big light of the daytime?
I'm going to go with it's really, really, really hot, and it's what keeps us warm.
I think so.
The sun.
The sun. That's it. And the one at night, can you guess what it is? That's right. It's the moon. It's the moon. So how did the moon and the stars and the sun get here?
God
Just said it. He said it.
Just said it.
And he's the only person who could do that because why? He is omnipotent. That's that big word. But guess what?
What?
He's not done.
He is not done. Now we're on day 5. This is a good one too. On day 5, he created the sea creatures and the birds of the air. So Michelle, could you read Genesis 1:20 for me?
Yes. And God said, let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly high above the earth across the expanse of the heavens.
So he created 2 things on this day. Do y'all remember what it was that she just said? Birds
Yes.
and creatures of the sea. Man, could you imagine, like, what are some things? Could you name off some things that you can think
Things
of?
that fly and mosquitoes.
Oh,
I
He
know.
made those?
He did.
why?
God created mosquitoes. He did. Let's see. Fish. Fish would
Fish.
be one.
I like the fish.
You like the fish? Okay. What's something else? Maybe sharks.
Sharks.
Whales.
Bats.
Yep. Things that fly. Things that are in the water. I bet you could think of a few things too, huh?
So on this day, God created flying animals and swimming animals. But he wasn't done there.
He wasn't done. He wasn't done. And so then we come to day 6. Now, he was really busy on day 6, okay? He created land animals and man, okay? Genesis 1:24 says, and God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock and creeping things and beasts of the air according to their kinds. And it was so. And he just spoke that. He spoke it and it happened. Livestock, and creeping things. And it makes me think about these creepy spiders and cows. Was something else we could think about maybe?
How about some tigers?
Tigers would be good. That's right. But there are people on here too. And that verse didn't say anything about people, did it?
No, it did not.
Okay, so I'm going to actually read from verse 27 that says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Now this time, Miss Angela, it did not say that God spoke it. It said that he created them. He actually made them and he breathed life into them. We are that's the only thing that he created that he was able to do that with. And we were made, what did it say? In God's own image. There's nothing else that was created that was made in his image. So we are pretty special. We are pretty special. So we're all different than anything else he created because we're made in his image, and he is the only one that can do that because he is omnipotent. And that means he's what? All powerful.
All right, so we have one more day left.
Okay?
Day 7.
All right.
But on this day, he created one thing, I would say.
He did.
Napping.
Ooh, I like
So,
this day.
you know, Mama didn't create napping. Did you know that God actually created napping?
He thought it was special, didn't he?
He did. Because on day 7, God rested.
He rested.
He rested.
I like that day.
Because, I mean, think about it. He created everything.
In 6 days.
Everything.
Yes.
And so then on the 7th day, he took it upon himself to rest, which means we're to rest too.
That's
I mean,
right.
he wants us to follow in that. And then, you know, sometimes we'd be so busy that we just get really tired. But we are to take that time and rest. So napping is actually a good thing, kids.
Yes, it is.
It is.
And parents. Just saying.
So he did all this in 6 days. And how did he do all that? How did he do it? Shelley?
The only way that he could have done it is because he spoke it.
He spoke it.
He spoke
Yes.
it all except for man, which he actually created
And
with his
he
hands.
breathed life into us.
Yes, and he did all of that because he is omnipotent.
And guess what God said when it was all said and done?
What?
He said that it was good, but not just good. He said it was very good.
Very good.
Very good. And
All right.
everything was perfect.
Yes. So, before we leave today, let's just do a really quick review. Day.
But you had him in order.
I thought I did too. You left 7 down. Okay. So, before we leave today, let's just do a really quick review. Day 1 was day and night. Day 2 is water, air, and sky. Day 3, dry land, plants, fruits, trees, grass, and
Flowers.
flowers. Day 4, sun, moon, and stars. Day 5, sea creatures and birds. Day 6, land animals and man. And day 7, he rested.
Rested.
Very good. That was a lot of stuff.
Man, we've been learning a lot the past couple weeks.
I know.
So you do not want to miss next week.
No, definitely don't want to miss next week. And we'll be back here at 9:45 next Sunday. We are so excited that you joined us today. Stay tuned. We've got a few things at the end for your family to talk about. And we will see you guys next week. We love you, we miss you, and we can't wait to give you hugs. Bye.